Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak, and we are getting closer and closer to Christmas. I know this because my wife actually made a declaration: I'm done with Christmas. So that means that all of the Christmas buying has been done, and yay. Um, it's interesting to hear the conversations go on between couples this time of year. As you're walking around the store, you hear people say things like, I don't want to buy that for them. I don't even like them. Or, why does your sister have to come again? She's always at our house. Or, one of my favorites I heard the other day was, um, we're broke. Why do we keep buying presents for people we don't even like? It's a good point, right? I mean, we get closer to Christmas and a lot of gift buying is out of obligation. It's like, oh, you're in this office thing, so you got to give gifts to each other because everybody needs to buy a gift because everybody wants to feel like they deserve a gift, right? Um, but at what point do you have enough? Like we live in a very well-off society. Um, Depending upon your social economic standards, you may have everything that you need, or you may have most of what you need, or you could be in a situation where you can purchase anything that you need. And it is not lost on me the fact that here in America, we are considered to be the richest country in the world. Um, I heard it said on Dave Ramsey one time that a family of two, if the husband and wife both work and they bring home more than 28,000 a year, they're in the top 1% of the world's economy. That's a crazy number. 28,000 a year, I mean, I'll be honest, is less than I made when I was in the military. Um, I didn't get paid a lot of money in the military. This was pre 9/11. I know that nowadays the folks in the military get paid a lot better, and they should. We should have. We didn't make enough to be able to survive. Um, I remember I had to take a second job just so we could afford diapers and food, and that was with government housing. We didn't have cell phones. We had basic cable so that we could watch something on TV. I mean, this was back years ago before the internet, so we didn't even pay for internet back then. It was just, you know, basic living, food mostly. Once in a while, clothes. Once in a while, a toy for our kid or kids. It was just not a livable wage back then. But since then, I mean, God's been good to me, and I've worked hard, and I've been blessed. I really have been blessed. And so, this time of year, I get questions asked about, hey, what do you want for Christmas? I don't want anything. I don't want anything. The things that I want are too expensive for anybody to purchase, and they're things that I want to work towards, or things that I can work towards. Um, I made a comment, or my wife made a comment years ago about you need a bigger toolbox. And I said, no, I don't need a bigger toolbox. I'm good with the one I have. The toolbox that I have right now came from my dad and my granddad, sort of. I think one of them owned it, then the other one had it, and then back and forth. And eventually it ended up with me. Um, I have used this toolbox since my granddaddy Pete passed away. Um, we went into his garage, and my granny Peak said, "Hey, take anything out of here that you want. Um, just leave me the stuff to cut the grass with. I'm gonna pay somebody to come cut the grass." And I was like, "What about? Don't you need basic tools?" She goes, "I got basic tools in the house." She's like, "But he wanted you guys to have this." So you got a picture of me, my dad, and my uncle David standing in the back of my granddaddy's garage and looking at a single car garage full of tools. Um, Basically, dad going, "I have everything. There's none in here that I want. You can have anything." And and Uncle David going, "Yeah, I've gotten everything. If you want anything, have it." And I was like, "Okay, well, I don't have anything," because at the time I didn't have anything. Um, Over the years, I grew up without anybody like showing me how to do anything. My stepdad really didn't know how to do anything back then. Um, my current one could, but he wasn't in the picture then. So the accumulation of tools has never been there. It's, hey, I've got this job. Oh, I don't have the tools. Let me see if I can find somebody, or I just can't do it, so I got to pay somebody. And I changed. I decided to change. I decided to turn a switch. I decided now I have tools. I can do anything. Let me do it. So I've had a fondness for this toolbox. I've had a ever since I loaded it into the back of the minivan and drove it back here. Um, I've had a weird attachment to this toolbox. Now, flash forward, this is 2023 now, many years later, and I need a bigger toolbox. Um, it's finally gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, let's get organized. Let's figure out what we got, what we need, what we use, what we don't use. I donated a lot of tools that I don't need. I threw out some that were garbage. Some of the things were falling apart, and I'm sure that the way my granddaddy looked at it was, here's some things that I could repair or fix in the future, and I could probably make that work and that sort of thing. Um, and now they just make better tools for almost everything that he had a small version of. So, you know, I did a little bit of cleaning yesterday. I actually pulled everything out of all of the drawers. I vacuumed the inside and wiped it out, made sure it was nice and clean, and put everything back nice and neat and organized, well as organized as I can. I don't have enough space for the wrenches. I've seen these new things now that help you organize your wrenches in orders by size, and that's kind of cool, but you need a bigger toolbox to put it in. And I've been toying around with the idea of possibly selling this toolbox or passing it along and then getting another one. And so, I mean, that's one of the things. Okay. But that's not something you could tell somebody at an office Christmas party. Hey, what do you want? I want this toolbox. It's kind of expensive, but like, I also don't want anything crazy expensive because there is a practicality to me. So I'm looking at like Facebook Marketplace and going, okay, well, this one, they want $200 for it, but what's the size? I can't see the dimensions on this. And I kind of want to send them a message. And then by the time I send them a message, it's already sold. And I'm like, well, crap. So anyway, thank God that I am in a position where I can piss and moan about I don't need anything. There was a large part of my life where I needed everything. I had no knowledge, I had no experience, I had no tools, I had no support. And when I met my wife, um, Dolores and I started dating, and I would have a hard time trying to manage my life because I was trying to do everything myself. I was trying to raise the boys myself. I was trying to take care of a home by myself. I was cooking and cleaning and paying the bills and trying to repair things and trying to figure things out and trying to figure me out. And at times I would get overwhelmed and she would say, "Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out." And she kept saying that. "Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out." And I'm thinking, you have no dog in the fight. You're just some girl that I'm dating. What do you care about? We'll figure it out. And she just kept saying, "We'll figure it out." And it dawned on me the thing that I like the most about her, aside from the obvious of her being a beautiful woman and capable and smart and all that wonderful stuff I can't say on the podcast. Um, besides all of that, she was in my corner immediately. She was willing to give me help. She was willing to be my support system in a way. Or I guess, I don't know, maybe she realized that here's somebody who just needs a little bit of help and she's a helper. Um, so am I. So, you know, we've been blessed. What I'm trying to say is this Christmas, we've been extremely blessed. And I'm so thankful that I can help people. I feel bad that I can't help people more. Um, there was a lot that has benefited my life from other people, and I want to extend that back out along the way if I can. And so I try to. I try to find ways to, maybe not always monetarily, maybe just being somebody to talk to, or being somebody to spend time with, or share a meal with, or give some tools to. So, anyway, Merry Christmas. Christmas is right around the corner, by the way. Let's talk about some stuff I heard because this is the Stuff I Heard podcast. Okay. I like to do a little check in the beginning and then we do talking about other things. So, um, this time of the year, as we're getting closer to the Christmas holidays, there is a lot of shows that are centered around Christmas, which is great. I mean, I talked about a few of those last week. And there's one that keeps popping up on Amazon with Eddie Murphy, and I'm gonna watch it. I just haven't watched it yet, so that's coming. But I wanted to find something that was a little off pace, a little different. Um, I felt like I went in really super heavy the last couple of weeks with content. And I was like, I just want something I don't have to think about. And that was my thought process whenever I looked this up. So this was a movie that came out years ago, 2021, just 2 years ago, and now it's on Netflix. It's called Love and Monsters. Love and Monsters is actually pretty good. I was pretty impressed. The special effects are amazing. I think they won an award for their special effects. But here's the premise of the rundown of the show. Okay, 7 years after how do you pronounce this? Monster apocalypse. Yeah, it's one word, monster apocalypse. Joel Dawson, along with the rest of humanity, has been living underground ever since a ever since giant creatures took control of the land. The After reconnecting over the radio with his high school girlfriend Amy, who is now 80 miles away at a coastal colony, Joel begins to fall for her again. As Joel realizes there's nothing left for him underground, he decides to venture out to Amy, despite the dangerous monsters that stand in his way. Um, it should also be said that he um, is terrible at taking care of himself or other people in the beginning. Uh, he's just a kid who's uh, not very good at killing monsters, but he's powered by love and he wants to go after it. So here's the thing. This says the release date was in October 16th of 2020. Okay, so that's right in the middle of COVID that the movie came out. The budget was $30 million. 30 million is not a lot of money in today's movies. Um, the problem is it came out during COVID, so box office was 1.1 million. So by all standards, you would call that a tremendous flop, right? If you look at just the numbers alone, you go, "Oh my God, I can't believe that. I can't believe somebody invested $30 million to only make back 1.1 million. That's a tremendous flop." Now, I'm here to tell you the numbers are wrong. Okay. This came out during COVID, and that is why those numbers look that way. This is a fun movie. Okay. The whole premise of the thing was, and he does it very quickly in a blurb within a minute of the opening lines. Um, Big asteroids heading towards Earth. Earth shoots a whole bunch of rockets at it. What they weren't prepared for was the aftermath of what came off of the rockets landing back on Earth, and it caused all of the um, bugs and animals and insects and stuff to um, grow to tremendous size. So the people had to go live underground. And that's the whole premise of the beginning. Okay. The special effects are really great. Um, the acting is really great, even though it's them in a bunker and them trying to get out of a bunker. It's mostly this guy. Joel Dawson is the character. His name is Dylan O'Brien. He's a great actor. Listen, I know this is sort of like every other movie that has some kind of apocalyptic thing, um, but it's cute. He's funny. He runs into Michael Rooker, uh, plays this guy who's just surviving. A young girl, Adriana Greenblatt, which you've seen her in everything now. She is the new rising star for everything that is out. She was in Barbie. She was in 65. Um, she was the young Ahsoka. I mentioned her on a podcast talking about the Ahsoka series. Whenever they had the flashback scene, uh, Ariana Greenblatt. I gotta learn to say her name because I'm going to say that a lot. Apparently, great actress. Young girl in this, obviously 3 years ago. She's funny in this. It's just great. It's great. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. It got a let's see. I just read it. Got a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay. And I'm sorry that they came out during COVID. That was the worst time to put a movie out. Um, but yeah, budget of 30 million. They only made 1 million. I'm sure Netflix got this for a steal. Go watch it. It's fun. Um, if you've got small kids, it's not super scary. I mean, there's a few moments where a bug comes out or a giant bug, and they go, "Oh no, look out, a bug!" And then they get rid of the bug or they run away. Or listen, this is good for everybody. Okay. Um, it's not too scary. It's not too gross. Um, then at the end of it, it's kind of a feel good story. So go enjoy it. Loving Monsters. I liked it. All right, so I watched that and I felt really good about myself. I was like, you know what? Sometimes I pick some winners. Sometimes I really just take a chance, and it wasn't me, it was Netflix. It's my algorithm. It's hey, Josh, you like these things, we figured you out. We've also made this because we spent $30 million back in 2020 because so many people like it. They weren't wrong. Apparently 94% Rotten Tomatoes. They knew what we like and they just made it, and it was great. Okay, so I ran off of that high and I was like, okay, what else can I watch? Now, I'm a huge comedy fan. You guys know that. Kevin Hart and Chris Rock came out with a thing on Netflix called Headliners Only. And this is a behind the scenes look at the tour. It's talking about their lives, talking about their triumphs, their struggles, how they got started in comedy, how they've come up. There's a lot of there's a lot of language in this, obviously, because it's two comedians that are top of their game and they're being open and honest about their experience. There's a lot of comedians that talk about them. It's a lot of behind the scenes. They do show you clips of how they got started in comedy when they were young. They talk about how hard it was to come up and get started, and the things that they've done along the way to sort of get better. Um, and I'm a huge Kevin Hart fan, and a huge Chris Rock fan, and a huge Dave Chappelle fan, and every you name it comedian. There's so many comedians that are at the top of their game right now, and I feel extremely lucky that we have the avenues that we can watch them in. Um, with Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and HBO, and I mean, when I was a kid, it was so rare to see comedy. You had to watch HBO, and maybe they would put out a special. And then they came out with An Evening at the Improv, and then they came out with Rodney Dangerfield Presents. Star Search once in a while would have a comedian. It was so rare to even see comedy on TV. And because it was television, television was very restrictive of what you could say and what you could do. And oh no, that's unacceptable. We can't show that. And then you had comedians that blew things out of the water by doing the thing you weren't supposed to be doing. George Carlin, Eddie Murphy. I mean, Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, um, Rodney Dangerfield. I mean, there are so many comedians that just they wanted to take the thing that you couldn't say or couldn't do and do it in a way that made you laugh because you knew it was a little bit wrong. And they also wanted to get you to laugh at the absurdity of the fact that words made people feel a certain way. And why did some words make you feel this way versus that way? Why did some words make you angry and some words made you happy? And what if we could toy with words and make you laugh at the thing you weren't supposed to laugh at? That was the interesting thing to me. Looking at it from the outside in is there's a certain art in it of being able to take the thing you don't think you'll laugh at and get you to laugh at it. Um, and these two guys are two of the best. So this is an interesting behind the scenes sort of thing of them doing their tour. They did the Rock Hart tour where they were in from Philly to New York. Being from those areas, they played headlines along the way to do Madison Square Garden. And I wish I could have gotten tickets. It would have been great. The tickets were super expensive, but even with this, the headliners only thing that they did for Netflix, I'm sure that now that it's been done, they'll put out a version of it so that we can watch it. Because that's usually how that works. I mean, Netflix has not missed the fact that there is money to be made from having comedians do their thing on your site. Just the eyeballs alone that it draws is worth it. But for the simple fact that the comedians are doing 90% of the work, you don't have to pay a cast, you don't have to pay a writer, you don't have to pay production. They're pretty much doing it all. You just say, hey, I'll give you this much money to let me stream this on my platform. And to get eyeballs to it, they've kind of figured out the math. So thank goodness Netflix exists. Anyway, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the behind the scenes. I enjoyed the camaraderie. I enjoyed the conversation. It's a lot like a podcast, but they did it like a show with flashback scenes, and I enjoyed that part too. So, all right. So again, two big wins. I'm thinking to myself, all right, Josh, we're doing pretty great so far. Let's what else can we watch that's pretty interesting? I don't know, man. There's a lot out there. There's a lot of garbage out there. And I'll watch some garbage stuff. And I've talked about watching garbage stuff in the past. But I was looking for something out of the normal. Now, I had heard on a few podcasts, different people talk about this movie. This movie is called RRR, and that's exactly how it looks when you bring it up on Netflix. Giant R, giant R, giant R, three R's, triple R. It's a Hindi. It is India's biggest movie ever. Um, I don't know the exchange rate, but in their dollars, they spent 5.5 billion INR, whatever INR is. I guess that's their local money to make this movie, and it is epic. It is everything that you would think that Bollywood would be if it were also an action movie, with a great story. Um, it is almost 3 hours long, or a little over 3 hours long. Here's the rundown: a tale of two legendary revolutionaries and their journey far away from home. After their journey, they return home to start fighting back against the British colonists in the 1920s. This got 95% Rotten Tomatoes. It is, when you click on the blurb on Netflix, it says the number one movie in 46 countries. And even though a lot of it was with subtitles and the English dub versus the subtitles were a little bit different, it didn't take away from the fact that this is a great movie. It's stylized really nice. It's beautiful. It has amazing special effects. Um, the action stars in this are action stars. They are tremendous action stars. Not to mention the fact that you got Ray Stevenson in this. Rest in peace, Ray. He was also, in the Ahsoka series. He was the guy that passed away before the series even showed. He plays a great bad guy in this, English colonist. Um, and I mean, you need a bad guy to make a good hero movie, and he's the bad guy that makes this a hero movie. Um, but the writing, the direction, the styling, the coloring, the special effects with the animals is incredible. The A lot of the stunts they do is super unbelievable, but also like weirdly connects me to watching like early kung fu films where they would, do a running diving kick or something from 30 feet away and slow motion get it to there, and it's just beautiful. There's portions where they break out into song and dance, and that's a little weird, but also I kind of liked it. Um, I was raised by a mom who loved musicals and got me to watch all sorts of musicals as a kid and fall in love with things like, um, the just every musical that was out that was popular. She was like, "Oh, let's watch this," and we would sing along to it. And so, thanks, mom. Thanks, mom. You made me kind of weird, but that's cool. Um, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Triple R. I enjoyed it. Yeah. All right. So, and my wife, it took me days to watch this because I could only watch it like a little bit at a time. And my wife kept going, "What are you watching?" And I was like, it's kind of cool. I don't know, it's weird, but I kind of like it. Which is sort of the standard for everything that I watch. Uh, now, there is a comedy series that's on Netflix. It's kind of new. Um, that I have been misquoting the name of it all week. Okay. The name of the show is 1670, just 1670. That's a date, right? I've been telling people all week long it's 1607. That's I was wrong. Sorry, I got it all wrong. 1670. Okay, 95% Rotten Tomatoes. This is the rundown on Google. It says Jan, a nobleman and owner of a village in Adamanskia, dreams of making his mark on Polish history. Unfortunately, he is hindered by his daily life as a landowner, convincing neighbors and the declining, conniving neighbors and declining noble republic. So this is a Polish show. This is in 1670. Um, this guy, it's a satirical comedy. This guy's a nobleman. He's weird. He's zany. Um, I've never used the word zany before, but I just saw it on the screen. He talks to the camera like he's in The Office. Has anybody ever seen The Office or Parks and Rec, where it's like they're being interviewed the entire time? So him and his family constantly talk to the camera as though they're being interviewed about their life, and he's telling them about their life, about what it's like here and how everybody loves me and they hate them. And it's just there's so much comedy layered in this that it's hard to keep up with the jokes. Like there was a scene, there was more than one episode where I wanted to look at my phone and also watch the show, and I couldn't look at my phone. I had to put my phone down because there was so much happening on the screen at the same time. There's a lot of subtle jokes. Um, one of my favorites is the town drunk. They have an intervention, and everybody in the beginning is congratulating him on doing such a great job, and then they have an intervention, and they have to sit him down and tell him why they need him to be a drunk again because he increased morale. And you remember that thing you used to do, and it was all the things you would say normally to get somebody to stop drinking. And they were all saying the things, and they're like, "Yeah, we missed that about you, man. You did this for us, and you did that." It's there's so many jokes in this that it's hard to keep up with the jokes. The family is really weird. I love it. I hope they make more. 1670s a hit. I love it. When I went online to look this up, there was all sorts of people from over there saying, "You think that's funny? You should also do this series." And so apparently, this is a running thing over in Eastern Europe, where they've done joke shows about life, about how dumb a lot of their leaders have been and mistakes they've made, and just this is so well done. I enjoyed it. So anyway, go check it out. 1670. I said it right this time. Trust me, 1670. I had to look at it again. So that's it. That's it. That's all I got to talk about. Okay. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. And we'll do this again closer to Christmas. But yeah, because ooh, next weekend, dun dun dun, is Christmas. I should do something special for Christmas. What do you guys want to do? You want to do like a live podcast for Christmas? We could do a live discussion. I could sing some Christmas carols. That would really be terrible. You guys would hate that. Because I don't know the lyrics. I have to look them up and do it karaoke style. Um, my brain, I overbrain my brain. Does that make sense? Yeah. So if you're out there and you know what I'm talking about, yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I know this is silly. I hope that some of this stuff will help you. So maybe you could use that to help your day, help you find some entertainment, help you wrap your head around this thing we call life. And yeah, thanks for doing this with me. So take care. Merry Christmas. And remember to rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends. And as always, cue the cow.
Cue the cow. Moo, baby.